Hello and welcome to another episode of the Not For Nothing podcast. It's another Tuesday. We made it, fam. We made it. I wanted to talk about a recent sign that tells me that I'm really getting old.
Yeah.
Remember in school how like you would have lunch and it would be literally like, why are they feeding us sloppy joe at 11 a.m.?
Yeah.
You know? And it just didn't feel right. And then you get into adulthood.
Yeah.
And like you're on your own schedule. It's actually during corporate America when I was fresh out of college, it was actually frowned upon to take your lunch break.
Yeah.
And so if you left your desk and went out to grab something, people were like, where is she? Like, even though you're legitimately within your rights. So, and that would usually be like 2-3 p.m. And I'm like, I need a coffee, pick me up. Like I'm starting to slump from the day, whatever you do that morning. Like I used to go to the gym before work and then like, you know, you're hungry for a while before you leave for lunch or pick me up. I've regressed. I'm back to 11 a.m. lunch.
Honestly, same.
11 a.m., 11:30. 11:30 is pushing it. I'm starting to get hangry by 11:30.
11:30, I need food.
You're eating lunch at 11:30.
Yeah.
For sure. Good. What time do you eat dinner on that schedule?
It depends if I have class or not. If I don't have class, I have been having dinner around like 6:30 or 6. If I have class, unfortunately, at 9. But it really also depends on when you have breakfast.
It so depends.
And it's like, I'm having breakfast at like 7.
Right.
So then I'm starving by 11:30.
It's so fair. That's so fair.
So
I'm eating breakfast at 7:30. And that's the same schedule you're on as a child.
Exactly. We're back to like elementary school schedule.
Yeah. Corporate America, we've really like goodbye. And lunch at 11:30. That's where it's at. No lines at 11:30 either.
Exactly.
Everybody else is still on that schedule
great.
at 2 p.m. I'll be eating at 11:30.
And I find myself needing a little 4 p.m. snack again.
Oh no, between 4 and 5, like I'm eating. I'm definitely eating.
And that's where it becomes hard where you're like, ugh.
I don't want to spoil my dinner.
I don't want to spoil my dinner. Should I just start cooking dinner now? Should I have dinner at 5:30?
Wait, that's so true because also you know, that's why after school snacks are a thing.
Exactly.
Because that's around 3:30, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock is pushing it after your extracurriculars.
We're back to that.
We are children again, but we're also elderly.
But we're also elderly. So
like I feel like the only thing different is that like you'd finish your night with like a shot of prune juice, you know? Are you doing that now?
No, but I do find myself sometimes having a little herbal tea.
Green tea isn't considered herbal tea, right?
No.
Herbal tea is no caffeine at all. I'm in my green tea bag right now.
Same, but that's like during the daytime morning.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm having coffee
Mm-hmm.
and it's like iced coffee all year long.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if I'm really cold in my house has been freezing.
Yeah, a warm green tea.
I have a hot green tea and my hack is I put it in a thermos where it's hot and it's going to stay hot for like the whole day. And I pour it into a mug sip by sip.
Nice.
So that way you don't burn your mouth on the thermos. You could drink your tea while it's really piping hot and you can cool it down with like one.
I love that. And whenever it does become like lukewarm or whatever, becomes excellent iced tea.
Oh, easily.
And
easily.
That's tasty.
You know what I use for green tea? Do you have any brand loyalty?
No.
Weirdly, I was very specifically craving the green tea bags from Costco.
I right now have an obsession with the jasmine green from Wegmans.
Ooh, I used to get the jasmine green from Trader Joe's.
But I need to start buying tea bags.
Oh, you're going to do loose.
Because I have a teapot. Like I could do loose.
That's very true.
And it's more cost efficient.
The other day I made sage tea.
That's tasty.
With white sage imported from Palestine.
That's delicious.
From like a long time ago.
But so that's like an herbal tea, right?
That is an herbal tea. But you know, it's not my preference. Like I don't know. I think I'm just on a like caffeine rush again.
No, and I feel like I love like a grassy green tea. Like,
I love it. Sencha.
Exactly. Like sometimes that taste is a good craving.
It is. And like the Costco one, it's sencha. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Me neither, but I know what you're talking about.
Mixed with matcha.
Love.
So it's like a little powdery, but it's still got that like grassiness. And like, it's just so good.
Not to always talk about Kazunori.
Oh.
But their tea is so good.
Oh, it is.
The ice and the hot.
It is.
And it comes unlimited. And
Oh yeah, you know what?
like,
I'm craving
really,
that.
It really hits the spot.
What kind of tea is that?
I don't know, because it's not like full matcha.
I think it might be.
I think it's a combo, like you're saying.
You know the rice tea?
Yeah.
Burnt rice tea?
Yeah.
I think it's partially that.
Because then it is green.
Yeah.
It is a green
that's
tea.
True.
And it is a little powdery.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
You know, it might be like very similar to that, actually.
But
I was misremembering it for like, I have a sushi spot near my house and I think they do the roasted rice tea.
This
and
one
I always
feels
drink
more
that.
like a matcha, but not full.
Yeah. No, I think that is it.
But it's so good.
Really
and
good.
You chug so much of it. Anyways, love tea.
Love tea. Big fan.
Alyssa sent me a very sweet package of herbal teas.
Was this for your birthday?
No, it's just she was buying some for herself too. And
Sweet.
They were having a little like coupon thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know David's tea?
Yes. Love David's.
Yeah.
I first went in Canada.
Okay, and so I didn't know they were Canadian. And last year when I was really sick, she sent me a little care package of like immunity teas and all the stuff that they have. And it arrived and it was all in French. And it was coming from Montreal. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like,
love that.
I was like, why is this DHL? And
really though.
And then I realized they're Canadian.
That's crazy. I didn't know that they were specifically Canadian, but that kind of makes sense. Yeah. Like I think I was in Toronto once and I had David's tea. I was young. I was a tea head.
They've been
up.
around for a while.
Yeah.
I think they must have been bought by someone recently.
That's what I thought because I've seen them in the US.
Now they're in
the
grocery stores I found them at Giant near me.
Wow.
So they must have had a different, but yeah, so they did this like, I don't know, she was buying some for herself. She bought some for me, but they messed up her order and they sent her somebody else's order that's like massive. Like
that's good.
It's good, but it's none of the teas that she had ordered.
They'll replace it.
Exactly. But so she got like 3 mugs, like spoons. Like somebody was clearly ordering for someone.
For gifts.
Like for gifts. There was like 8 different bags of different. It was
that's crazy. That's a score.
She was like expecting 3 bags of tea, you know?
Right.
And she's like, this huge box from David's Teas here. Like, what the fuck? And the mugs are so cute.
Ooh.
But I was like, that's a huge come up. That was hilarious. And they're Canadian, so they're probably gonna be so nice about it.
Right? They're like, oh, sorry, we didn't mean to send you the wrong one.
But I love their, like, they have a one for your cold and stuff.
Love
and
that.
I feel like it like has peppermint and all that shit.
I love
really
that.
Good. That's like the herbal tea I talk about.
Love, and I'm so behind that.
Yeah, that's like a good self-care shit.
I agree.
Makes you feel like you're a spa.
And it's just daily. Like even though you're having like I have, I need I drink iced drinks for the feeling of drinking water because I love a cold
very
drink.
Different purposes.
Right, and just to shoot caffeine essentially.
Exactly. But like this is just as a little like
it's a treat. It's a warm treat.
I'm on the couch like
it's just nothing cozier.
Like why not?
Why not? So my white sage tea.
Yeah.
I brewed it in my Moka pot.
Nice.
Because I was like, oh, I broke my tea kettle.
Yeah.
It was an electric one. I accidentally broke it. And I was like, fuck, I really don't want to replace it. Like, I just don't want to buy things.
Although tea kettle is useful.
It is useful. But I was like, I have pots. Like, really, what's the difference? And then I thought about it and I'm like, my Moka pot for coffee, it comes with a strainer. It's essentially a tea kettle.
Exactly.
So that's my new tea kettle.
What is your stove situation? Is it gas?
Gas.
Okay. Because do you know
All
the
the way.
whole like Moka pot issue now is that a lot of people's homes are induction or electric and the Moka pot is made for gas. And so people are like melting by accident and like burning their Moka pots on like an electric because the circle that heats is like much larger than the versus when it's a gas stove, it like sits on it. And so now they've made a new attachment.
That's crazy. Like they have to put spikes on it.
Yeah, so it's now that bottom piece is just a larger, different bottom piece that you can like switch out.
That is crazy.
But it's crazy how like this product is so old.
It is.
And has to be like adapted
original.
to
like I'm sure it was used originally over a fire.
Exactly. And now it's like you have to adapt it because policies are making that like New York, like you can't have a new home.
I know with gas, which is interesting for the unions.
But also like this is my first time living in a home with an electric one. I hate the way it cooks, but it is so easy to clean. And I never have to like be afraid of like a gas leak or that like I left it on or whatever. Cause it's like.
So you have electric heat as well?
Yeah. Everything's electric in my house, which is.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
How's your bill?
It's not that crazy because it's like shared with the building.
What do you mean?
Like it's
Your
like
heat.
yeah.
Oh, my heat's not included.
Yeah, like
And my hot water.
So it's like my utilities are, but DC's like weird about their utilities.
Yeah, I think I have heard that before.
Like it's just a weird system.
Okay, that's good.
So it's not as like itemized. But I pay the electric separate, and it's about like 80 to 100 a month, depending on like how much, if I like run the like AC or shit like that.
Yeah. Wow, 80 to 100, bro. If I'm running the AC, my bill, no joke, $250.
So that's what's
and
like,
I have gas, heat, and water.
So like that's like one bet. Like I kind of like being in an electric home.
Yeah,
but it is a learning.
Hate an electric stove.
Yeah, like
personally,
it is harder to learn.
Despise
it. Like the heat changes so quickly
and so immediately,
which is it. I have started to like cook differently.
I had an electric stove in the past. I hate it,
but it's so like cleaning a gas stove because I'm a messy cook.
Yeah,
it just like when you like splatter tomato sauce or some shit, and you're like,
that's so true. You could like
clean.
You could like turn it on and like clean with the heat.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's frowned upon, but
on the electric one,
yeah,
like you can immediately like wipe it and shit. You don't have to like remove the grate and like go in and like.
So true.
Wow. I used to hate that at our LA stove because it was white as well.
Oh,
and so like white.
Mine is black, but
so it hides a little more, but like white was like. The smallest any
oil speck,
and then you have to like clean the whole thing, and it sucks.
I hate cleaning my stove. Cleaning my stove and doing the dishes,
the worst,
the downfall of me.
But
I feel like I was just gonna ask you a question. Oh, I want you to tell me the story about like. Don't you guys get a king's cake every year for your sister's birthday?
Oh my god! Okay,
explain what a king's cake is too.
So the French and Belgian, King's cake is different from like the Southern Cajun King's cake.
Okay, which is like a Mardi Gras cake.
Yeah, usually. And it like looks more like a fruit cake vibe.
Oh.
This is like a tart. Yeah, like a tart. It's a puff pastry.
Oh.
And inside it's frangipane, like almond paste. So it's basically like an almond croissant, but round.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's like this like tart, and you hide inside. That's the same similarity between the two King's cakes. You hide a
fetus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
you hide a small plastic baby for some reason. Like, why? What's the origin?
It's the baby Jesus, apparently.
Is it?
That's what it's supposed to be, I think. Which is funny that my family does it, but like
it's whatever. Also like weird. Like, why is he being found in a cake?
No idea.
Interesting. It is around Easter usually, right? Mardi
Christmas.
Gras? Is it Christmas?
Yeah, it's on I guess the 5th of January.
Oh, like for Three Kings Day?
It's the king. Yeah, it's when the three kings came to bring the gifts. It's
all making sense.
Yeah. So that's the celebration.
Okay.
I don't know why my family does it, but it's a very good cake. You know?
Yeah.
It's delicious.
It's a French thing.
And so
French Belgian.
Yeah, French Belgian. Francophone.
Right,
because like
you will,
because that's like where then the Cajuns like also have the same tradition because it's colonization.
Right.
But so there's this tradition. It's really good. Whoever gets the little thing becomes the king, whatever, or queen, royalty. And anyways, so they're kind of hard to find in New York, and usually like a bakery will have them, but like just for the week that it's happening. And okay, let me rephrase that. It's not that hard to find in New York. It's definitely more popular now than when I was a kid. They're not good everywhere. And a lot of places are just like not very good. It requires a lot of butter for it to be good. Mm-hmm. Like it is a oily, greasy, like it's a fatty kind of tart almond thing.
It's like croissant-y.
And I feel like a lot of like American bakeries don't use enough butter or enough like real
use, like,
butter.
Shortening.
Yeah. And it'll have that kind of like, that's
filmy.
How like some croissants you'll taste are like more bready than they are like flaky. And it's the lack of butter.
Right.
And so there's only a few places that do it well. And one of the spots that we do like is next to my parents' house. And normally they do like a pre-order form. And this year they were not doing one, or last year rather.
There was no order form or no cakes?
There was no pre-order. They were only going to have them for sale at the shop like the week
when they had them. Yep.
When they had them. And this like Three Kings Day, whatever, falls around my sister's birthday. So it's kind of a tradition for us to do this cake because it's like fun. And we go to this bakery on, I guess the real day was on Sunday. So on Thursday, I go with my mom the first time. And they're like, no, we don't have any. They'll be arriving Friday. We like re-meet up. We go to the spot on Friday. And they're like, the shipment hasn't arrived yet. It'll be arriving Saturday.
Also hate. That means they're not making it themselves.
Exactly. Well, that like I'm not. It's like a mini chain.
Okay, got it. Like, so it's like a bakery lending to a bakery. Like
I had
local.
a feeling it's like they're larger bakeries, like where they're making,
right.
and then this is just where they sell them.
Okay.
They don't have them yet. They're like, come back at 11 a.m. the next day, and we'll have them.
Okay, so this is now day 3.
Day 3, and I'm like 11. No, they said 9 a.m. I was like, I'll be there 8:59.
Yeah. You're like, I love a plan. Say less.
Say less. So my dad and I go at 9 a.m. and they're like, they still haven't arrived, but come back at noon and we'll for sure have them. Okay. At this point, my dad's like, this is not going to happen. I'm not coming back with you. Like, you need to give up. And I'm like, I don't give up this easy.
Especially for a birthday.
Yeah, fuck the man. And anything for my sister. Also anything for like friends. And so I'm like, fuck it. I go at noon, and this time my sister's like, I'll come with you because, like, you know.
She knows what's up.
She knows. And she, you know, she's feeling the angst. So she comes with me, and the woman who is the same person I have spoken to every single time.
So every day over 3 days.
Yeah.
And then once that morning.
And so she's like, we don't have any available for sale. And I'm like, what does that mean? And she's like, we have some, but not for sale. I'm like, so you don't have any? Like, what?
Like, what do you mean they're not for sale?
What do you mean they're not for sale? And
do I need to come back?
And then she's like, but if you had come at 11, that's when we still had some. But unfortunately, we sold them. At this point, I'm like, excuse me?
You're like, who did you sell them to? That wasn't me.
Like,
who's been here 4 times already?
Who else has priority on this list? Did you only have 2?
Right.
Like, and so literally, I feel like she was avoiding saying the word sold out. And so my sister like forced
we have
it
them,
out.
But they're not available.
And so my sister was like forcing it out of her. She was like, what do you mean not available for sale? Just show it to me. And then
show it to me, Rachel.
Like, I'll pay cash. What do you need from me?
You're like, give me the motherfucking cake.
Like, what do you give me? Half the cake? Give me 3 slices.
Right. Just give me the baby.
Literally. Like, what? Why are you being so gatekeeper about this?
What's so weird? Like, are you selling it by the slice? Like, that's literally a question.
That's the follow-up question of my sister. She's like, oh, are you only selling it to people who are like eating here? Like, we'll sit down and order a few and then ask for you to wrap it up to go.
Right.
Like, she was like,
we're going to find a loophole. We will be ordering it.
What is your motherfucking problem?
Right.
And so she starts getting so weird about it. And then she's like, so we don't have any. And I'm like, I'm over this conversation. And this is one of the only times in my life that I have like gotten upset at a person working in the service industry.
Because it's her fault.
It was literally, and she is not like, she's the manager.
Right.
Like she was the high up person of the spot. Like
she should just listening to someone's
She
orders.
should be better at her job and communicating. And I was like, this is bullshit. I have been supporting you guys for years. You're ruining my sister's birthday. This cake is, I have now wasted all day trying to get this cake when I could have been going other places. And so I said, thank you very much. I will never be supporting you again. Fuck off.
Name them.
Unfortunately, my parents still support them.
They do. Yeah. They didn't do all that waiting. They were like,
they're like, whatever, they sell good stuff. I told them it's fine. Just
don't tell me about it.
Just don't tell me about it. But what does not available for sale mean?
No, that is so crazy. I'm about to start using that.
It felt like such gaslight. I'm like, like, what do you want from me?
It's available. It does exist somewhere. Not here.
I couldn't. I was like, I want to slap you in the motherfucking face the way you're saying not available for sale.
Come back by noon and they'll definitely be here. And you coming back at noon and I know
come at 11.
You were maybe there at 11:57.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like I would have seen whoever bought these.
Right.
I didn't see anyone in the street with one.
It almost makes me wonder, like,
if it's because we were Jewish, because that's what I wondered too.
Really?
No,
I was actually thinking, like...
But it was funny that, like, I was upset, and it's, like, a fully Christian tradition.
No, I'm wondering, did someone come and just buy all of them? Like, were there a lot?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, did you just... And then I was like, okay, so here's where it started getting weird, where she was like, well, people, like, ordered them. And I'm like, but you told me there was no pre-order.
Right.
And she's like, there was no... And I'm like, but you clearly, like, reserved some for people.
Like, how long ago did they pre-order?
And, like, you're telling me in 1 hour.
Right. Like, did someone come and pick up 50
You are not
King's
this popular.
cakes? Right. For a church event?
That's why I really think it either they just never had any.
Right.
I don't know. It's still a
Like
mystery to this day.
The shipment never came.
Yeah.
And she was just like...
Or they actually, like, had some reserved for other people who were willing to, like, pay extra.
That's what I was going to say. Paying extra or something.
I was definitely not paying extra for anything.
Right.
Fuck
They
that.
owe you money after being there that long.
So, whatever. Fuck them.
Well, now they have a smear campaign against them. So, okay. That broker fee law.
Yeah.
That's happening soon.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
So, from my understanding, and no thanks to the mayor.
Yeah.
A new law passed in New York that's going to go into effect in June that will ban buildings and real estate agents from charging a broker fee for an apartment. So it has to like fall onto the landlord, which could have problematic consequences in the sense that like then they will just like pass on the cost to the consumer through increase in rent.
Yeah.
But we'll see. And also the law passed because like the mayor did nothing. Like he like didn't sign it, but because there was a certain like I think it was like 48 hours after or whatever, it like automatically gets passed into law.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, you really did nothing to help the people on this one.
But we got helped. We helped ourselves.
Exactly. And the reason I wanted us to talk about it is because this is a bill that's been floating around for a minute and a conversation that has been floating around for a minute, especially us who like have really gone through like looking for spots. And like, I know a lot of people have left New York due to the broker fee.
Struggling. And
it was cool to see like local action. Like I love seeing local policy change. And I think this is a really important one.
It is.
And I'm really curious to see how it'll, because you can't increase rents if people aren't going to pay them.
If people can't pay them.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Yeah. So like, and there's really a ceiling of how much you can increase it by.
Right.
And we're already at such an increase.
Yes.
That exactly. I don't even think that they would be able to pressure, but maybe not. Maybe it'll, who knows?
Right. We'll see, I guess, but it does suck. And you know what I was going to say? This would all be solved if the landlords who themselves know how to get on Facebook just posted their own listing. It's not like the brokers are doing what they used to do.
Exactly.
Brokers nowadays are just posting in Facebook groups and saying, yeah, meet me at that house. I'll give you a showing. They're not recommending a second or third option for you within your budget. You can't provide them a budget anymore that they can help find you a space you're looking for. You just settle for whatever is in your budget nowadays if you're able to find it.
Exactly.
So we're paying brokers fees for no reason because we're doing the legwork of finding
the
spot ourselves.
And so it really, that's where I feel like it was a disgusting policy initially, was that most people are finding the apartments themselves and they're paying this broker fee to this person they probably have never interacted with or interacted once with, just like for our detail about the application.
To apply.
And like
to pay that should also be abolished.
The application fee. To the extent that like I'm down to pay the like $10 credit check or whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
Like that's a service
I've paid
fee.
over $100 every time.
But then like in the LA spot, we each paid $20 for the credit check.
That's a good price.
Then we had to pay $100, maybe like $200 total for like the application fee, which that I thought was fucked up because what are you?
This is staticky.
Because what are you checking other than my credit?
Right.
But I do understand paying the processing fee, whatever. Fuck it. That if it was just $10 to apply, I would be fine with that.
And you'd be able to see and apply to more apartments.
Exactly. So
and the fact that doing a credit check negatively impacts your credit is crazy.
So that's been I'm curious to see how that will.
Want this?
I'm okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah. Because rent in New York is unsustainable currently.
Rent, utilities, just about everything is unsustainable in New York at this moment.
Honestly, I feel like I've already spent like over $300 being in New York for 3 days.
And like you've done nothing really, but you went to the movies once and ate.
I didn't even take an Uber last night.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, yeah, what did I do else?
Everything is $1 million. Yeah. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, literally.
Weed cravings.
Mm-hmm.
What have you been in the mood for these days?
I don't know. Good weed.
Yeah, that too.
I feel like there's
sure.
I don't have access the same way to good terpy weed.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm missing like some real gassy shit. We were talking about like some permanent marker, but like some good permanent marker.
Yeah.
And like
some zope.
Yeah, some zope, some goat's milk.
Ooh, I'm not actually in the mood for goat's milk.
I'm just in the mood for anything that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like my terps I'm like
flavor.
I'm craving some flavor, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm specifically in a permanent marker, a zopey mood. But I feel like that's also transferring into my food cravings lately.
Yeah.
They've been kind of on the pungent side. Mm-hmm. I had this soft Gouda that was red wine. Nice. It was Chianti soft Gouda.
Nice.
So it was like a dip, and it was on a charcuterie board for like the holidays. And I was like, I think this might be the best cheese I've ever had. And then on top of that, I told you, like, for breakfast today, I had like steak and eggs with blue cheese.
Love blue cheese.
And I love blue cheese. And it's so pungent. And I feel like that's what I've been wanting, that pungent punch.
Yeah, I think I'm finally getting over my like runs phase. I had a little, just because I felt like the only like high quality I could get in DC was like very fruity, sweet. Yeah. And so I was like really associating the two to like good weed.
Yeah, quality.
But now I'm craving the funk again.
Mm-hmm. I'm craving the funk. I'm out of fruity and sweet right now.
I want some good permanent marker.
Have you ever had UK cheese?
No.
Good shit.
Yeah?
Yeah, when you get like a good cheese from either overseas or for...
I wish one day we can go to France and eat the cheese together.
I think we need to just take actions to make that happen.
Yeah, it's just not like they're also going through similar situations as us, you know?
Like not having a government.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, they do now, but like questionably. For how long?
Right.
At the recording of this podcast, they have just nominated a prime minister over the weekend.
Yay!
To give you context of when this is in time.
Welcome back to democracy.
Well, Belgium actually went like a year and a half without a government.
I feel like they're like kind of rebellious though, in like a Costa Rican way.
It's more in like a anarchist, tiny country, too many voices way.
I feel like Costa Rica.
Yeah. Like, there is no need for this much fighting over so few people.
Yeah.
You know? And so they can't it's similar to like Canada's issue with Quebec, where like in Belgium, there's the French speaking side and then the Flemish speaking side. And they both think that they are powerful independently.
Right. So they're like, should we secede?
Yeah, but it's like, just shut the fuck up.
Right. Like, can you just stop?
But then it's like,
you're both so small.
As a person from the French side, I also am very forthcoming with the fact that like there has been so much resistance from the French speaking people of like communicating and collaborating with the Flemish side and vice versa. But like, you need to look inward first before believing others. And like, for example, I don't speak Flemish.
Really?
And, like, that's problematic.
What's crazy is I actually thought you were from the Flemish side but spoke French.
No.
Wow.
Well, Brussels is like is technically like a neutral zone of both.
So you're on the border.
Yeah, like Brussels is geographically in the Flemish side, but it's a francophone primarily city. And it's also like it's kind of like DC where it's like the EU government, so it's like a weird vibe.
Right. Wow.
Like a lot of people will speak English in Brussels
because everybody
is from kind of random.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a weird, there's so few people.
I can't even imagine that vibe.
No, it's like, it's tiny.
I imagine that vibe to be similar to being in Montreal. No, like literally being in Montreal because you're like,
you don't know.
There's French Canadians, there's people who speak English, there's freaking...
And so people will just usually speak English to you if they like don't know.
And then they'll figure out what you speak. Wow, crazy.
Because like people will get offended, you know, if you've like assumed
if they're Flemish
or vice versa, like by the sea is Flemish.
Uh-huh.
And like when I go with my family, like they'll refuse to speak to you in French even if they speak it.
Like as in an act of protest.
They're like, you're in this region, you should speak the language of this region.
Oh my God.
No, it's so intense.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never knew this. I bet our listeners didn't know that either.
It's the pettiness
Except
is
the 0.1% that is in Belgium.
Yeah.
Thank you to you.
hell yeah. But yeah, I love the pettiness, but it is inefficient governance. I mean, it's unfortunate.
Wow.
But the cheese, out of this world.
Like we're talking soft cheese, we're talking hot cheese.
All of them, because Belgium is like this perfect mix of like French and like Dutch. So it's like you have all the like, how do you say it in English? Edam, EDAM.
I don't even know that word.
It's similar to Gouda. It's like a hard Dutch cheese.
Oh, okay.
But then you have all the French soft. So you have this like weird culture of both.
You know, like
And good bread and good butter.
I'm not like a raw milk girl, but I would fuck around with raw milk in the case of cheese.
Okay, so here's the thing. One of my favorite French cheeses is a raw milk cheese. And I've always wondered why you can't get it in the US. And
Illegal.
It makes me sad because it's one of the best. It's like, it's a little dank, but it's like similar consistency to a brie.
Ooh.
But not totally on the camembert dankness. It's it's so good.
I don't have the like linguistics to talk
Brie
cheese.
is like a soft, you know.
No, I've had brie.
But like
I can imagine what you're saying, but like the specific terms you're using, I'm like, wow.
it's like, dank.
You're well spoken about cheese.
Well, we eat a lot of cheese.
Cheese is so good.
So good.
Such a great source of protein.
But so I was talking to my mom about this the other day. I was like, well, if raw milk gets legalized, like, you know, maybe we can get our cheese.
Oh my God.
But then it really brought up the topic where like people are really comparing two different things. The raw milk in Europe and the raw milk here, very different.
Very different. I also feel like aging processes of cheese and stuff for some reason
gets rid of, mozzarella is raw milk based.
Is it?
Like some, but through the process of cheesifying. What is the cheese process? Curdling.
Yeah.
Like it grows bacteria, but I guess like
it's in boiling water.
But it like attacks others or whatever. I don't really understand how cheese works. Nor do I want to know more. I kind of like
it's not really gross.
Yeah, I'm just, dairy's traumatic to me, you know?
Understood.
But I love cheese. But I know that I'm not welcome.
I need to go to a cheese shop soon.
Yeah.
Maybe that should be our next
Oh my God,
adventure.
I follow this like cheesemonger in Brooklyn who like always had, and so she was talking about raw milk and how like for cheese it's really important, but like people really should not be just loosey-goosey like
raw milk in my coffee, raw milk in my cereal. My kids love the raw milk. Stop it.
You're gonna get like avian flu.
Like literally there's going to be a problem. You're gonna make it our problem. And I don't want that.
But raw milk cheese is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm actually craving it bad. I'm like, I love not being pregnant. Bring on the raw milk cheese. Yeah, that was always like a forbidden thing during pregnancy. And I learned that there's like none of it by like kind of process of elimination, being like, can I have this? And turning over like every cheese label and being like, oh, I could have everything in the US.
Literally. And that's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's why I think my mom is like immune to everything.
Right.
Because I'm like, wow, there's a whole lot of bacteria in your body.
Somehow she's balancing it all out. Good for her. All right, listen. We will see you next Tuesday.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed?
Like, we better see you.
You better turn on the bell. Turn on the bell to get reminded of new episodes. We'll see you wherever you watch or listen to your favorite podcasts. I'm Sarah.
I'm Natasha.
Look us up on social at Not For Nothing Pod. We'll see you next week.
Bye.